Doing a wheel bearing, a hub on a 2012 Chevy Volt. Here's a used one versus the new one we're gonna put on. So the first thing you start with is getting the caliper off. And took this guy loose from its holder. Then we gotta get the caliper bolts, the bracket bolts off the back down here and here. One trick on this upper one, because it's really tight against this other bolt right here. So the socket, at least my socket, doesn't really want to move. So what I did is loosen the bolt that holds the rotor on. So if I loosen this up, this whole unit can kind of slide out, and it gives me a little more clearance back here, so I can actually loosen that bolt. Cut that upper one off. Finish getting the lower one. Now we need to tie this guy up. Obviously be careful if you're going to use zip ties. Now we can get the final rotor bolt off. This is a T30 Torx little screw that they put in here. I already loosened it up to get that upper caliper mounting bracket bolt out. So that's good. Rotor pulls off real easy. So I need a 32mm socket for this axle nut. I'm going to use an electric impact, which I highly recommend if you're going to do this kind of work. There it is. GM wants you to replace these every time. They're actually pretty much all these fasteners they want you to replace because some of them are torqued to yield. I've just been inspecting them really closely and everything looks really good. The yellows, these are the caliper mounting brackets, bolts. That's the Loctite that they have on the OEM fasteners. So I'm just going to apply some different thread locking compound when I put these back in. And then this, it just looked really closely, looks pretty good. I don't see any damage. Obviously, it's best to follow GM's recommendation, so if you want to go ahead and buy all these brand new pieces of hardware, that's what they want you to do. So now I'm going to take the ABS sensor out. I've got to remove that before the wheel bearing comes off. This is a number 10. Doesn't take much torque. I think it's in the inch-pounds, 80 inch-pounds or so. So it's just a quarter drive. Comes off real easy. You're going to be careful with these because obviously that's reading your wheel speed. So you don't want to just swing these around and damage the sensor. Should come out real easy. And just pull this out carefully. There it is. Wheel speed sensor's out. So I'm just going to kind of tuck this back away just so I don't damage it. You can break the tips, and they're just magnetic sensors, but I want to just keep it out of the way. Alright, next we got to get the mounting bolts out for the hub. So you got one here, one that's tucked in way back in there. Probably can see that. So that one's kind of tough to get to. And then one back on the other side, right here. This guy's pretty easy to get. Alright, so I got my breaker bar in here. You kind of got to find a spot that you can get to it. This is an 18mm socket that you need on these, just a hex socket. So I gotta cut that down, just gotta do a couple strokes on it. I have to turn a little. Again, I can't quite get this in here, so try. See if I broke it loose enough to use the normal. This one, this upper one, I think I found the best way is you sort of just have to move the CV boot around a little and get it to get in there. Alright, so I just got the socket in by itself without the extension. Now I'm going to try to sneak this guy in here and see if I can get... Okay, so we got the socket and found a position where we can actually get a little bit of a turn on it. crazy. Turn this back the other way to have access to the other side here. Get my 18, my breaker bar. This is probably the easiest one of all of them. Now I got them all loose, so we'll start to see the bearing come off. Straighten this out to make it easier on the CV. So our CV will be straight. See, there it goes. Comes off the splines. There it is, dirty. And we can see this guy can obviously come off now. I left that upper bolt in there because it was a pain in the butt to get out. So I just leave that. We can see this washer again has broken. Both sides on mine had this, so I'm suspicious that this might have been part of the clicking that was going on. Here's the other piece. So of course they want you to use these new every time too. I already measured it out and put one in, and I don't think that actually we need to use this. I don't know, just a little thrust washer, so I don't really know why you would need that. I put one side together to see if I would need it or not, obviously because I didn't have one of those and there was no issues with it. So I think it's just a little additional thrust washer, but we still got a good thrust face on the CV here, so I'm not too worried about it hitting the back of the bearing. Both surfaces should be fine. Alright, got all our parts out, got our new bearing, cleaned everything out. Always a good idea to clean all the road grime out of there. A lot of people like to put anti-seize on this surface for future service. Just looking how these were, luckily I'm in California, so it's not too bad. So I'm just going to leave it raw. But definitely if you're in any of the states where you get salt on the road, I would recommend putting anti-seize on there. I've switched out to my 3/8 torque wrench here to torque these hub bolts. Their torque is 74 foot-pounds, and then 60 degrees, that's per GM. So I'm gonna just start with 74. There's 74. Put the axle nut back on right now, just to pull everything tight. I'll have to torque it when the brakes are back on, but make sure you route it the same way it was, because it keeps it out of all the steering. Slip it back in there. Only one way it can go in, so no problem with that. Get your bolt. Go ahead and tighten that up. Again, doesn't need to be, don't need to tighten the living shit out of it. Just tighten it up a little bit. It's in the inch-pound scale, so I'm going to use my 1/4 inch drive just to keep it under control. So one reason I wanted to put that axle nut on was to make sure that this didn't have any interference when it went in, especially since I left these washers out here. So we can see that everything's good. This is tight. feel the CV doesn't want to move in and out, and that sensor went in without any resistance, so wasn't catching any edges or anything. So we should be good here to put the caliper back on, the rotor and the caliper, and then we'll torque our nut once we can jam something into the rotor. Okay, now we're going to get our rotor, line up the hole for that screw with the threaded portion in the hub. So we'll leave it somewhat loose now because I've used it to access the caliper bolt. A little better access when I had that loose, but this will allow us to get the caliper lined up. Caliper off. So when we just touch the brakes to start the car, of course the caliper piston pushed out. So now I'm going to use a C-clamp just to push it back in a little bit. That way we'll be able to get it back on. Now this should slide on here. There it goes. Alright, so we got to make sure we fit that guy back in place. Go ahead and torque these. These caliper bracket bolts are 21 millimeter socket you need. I'm using the 13/16 because I didn't happen to have the 21 on me at the time. It fits real nice too, so 13/16 also works. These also you have to torque to 74 foot-pounds, and then so torque each to 74 foot-pounds, and then 60 degrees, and then they want an additional 15 degrees. So I'm gonna get as close as I can to that. There's only so much you can do. All right, now we got to go back and torque our axle nut. So in order to do that, we're going to need to hold this whole unit from spinning. Torque it to 111 to start, and then they want you to back it off 45 degrees, and then torque it to 185 as the final torque value on this nut. 185. Switch this guy back. This back. Alright, should be at 185 there. That's the last step. Get your wheel and tire back on, make sure you torque the lug nuts, and that's about it.